People here always just think I'm like not American because of the eyebrows. Sure it is, I'm half French, half Italian, but I just tell people that I'm Italian because the French are such snobs that even the French side of me hates me for not being completely French. I'm from upstate New York. Woo! Yeah, some upstaters in here. Yeah, people always say here, they're like, oh, you must love the fall with the foliage and the mountains. But I really have mixed feelings about the fall because my first memories of fall involve being shoved onto a hay wagon in the middle of the night while a man with a mask and a hacksaw came within 2 inches of my face and the wagon stopped and let him. You ever heard of this? This is called the haunted hayride. This is what people do in upstate New York. And I'm a 90s kid and there was no minimum age requirement for this. So my parents thought, 7. Yes. Totally appropriate for this experience. Now, at the end of the corn maze, at the end of the hayride, they actually let you off at a corn maze, and they say, all right, now you have to go through the corn maze to be able to get back to your parents and be able to go home. Found a flaw in this system. Because if you are, say, traumatized by what you just underwent on the wagon, you might hide within the corn for hours and not come out. Credit to this place though, they do send out a search party for you. And one would think, right, to the age of a 7-year-old, you would send like high schoolers who work in the back with the brightly colored t-shirts. But no, this place actually sends the monsters that just try to kill you. That's like sending Jaws to go find the lost swimmer. So I don't live in upstate New York anymore. I'm now in New York City. And I'm actually the first woman in my family to ever live alone. Which means I'm the first woman in my family to ever master the self-administered Heimlich maneuver. Not for safety reasons. Like, this is purely for pride, because I can't tell my parents that I moved to New York City to pursue my dreams and have them find my body 3 weeks later covered in goldfish and 51st dates on in the background. And people always say like, oh, you're a woman living alone in New York City. Do you feel safe? Like, yeah. This is the safest I've ever felt. Now when a murderer comes into my building, they have to go up an 8th-floor walk-up in order to get to me. It's funny, when I first moved to the city, I was seeing this guy who was at his place and went to get like a towel from his closet, and there were just 50 decks of playing cards. And a straitjacket. And I just kept thinking, serial killer or magician, serial killer or magician. I would have been much more comfortable with serial killer. Because dating's hard, right? You got your job schedule, you got your workout schedule. It's really difficult to schedule time to just hopefully not die alone. And there's so many places to make bad choices now, right? Because you got Tinder, it's meant for regrets. You got JDate, it's frowned upon when you're Catholic. Then you've got glutenfreesingles.com. That's right, there is a glutenfreesingles.com. Now, what that actually means is someone out there sat down and decided that gluten-free people should only date other gluten-free people. I don't think it was a gluten-free person who decided that. Like, I think all the non-gluten-free people out there finally got organized and decided that no one should have to go without a drunk night slice of pizza unless medically required to do so. Because the only real problem I see with like a gluten-free person dating another gluten-free person is no one wants to be the breadwinner of that relationship. I always tell people I'm much more spiritual than religious, right? Not because I don't believe in religion, but because Catholicism and food allergies don't mix. Like for me, going up to receive communion is a dangerous game of Russian roulette. Like, instead of the priest saying, "Do you accept the body of Christ?" he should be saying, "This body was blessed on machinery that also processes peanuts." And I've had an allergic reaction to the host in church before. And as I'm sitting there in the pew with my family suffocating, I'm like, what's the police report gonna say? Right? Like, murdered by God. In church. Like, I've heard of divine intervention, I just didn't think God would send Mr. Peanut to do it. So I now tell people I am Catholic, but I have a very severe Jesus intolerance. Alright guys, thank you so much, and Meg Patenaude, thank you for coming.